Hi everybody, we are doing the second part of our build block for this FPV glider that I'm putting together. In this part we're going to be looking a little bit at the electricals, and first up we have the motor. Now I have been planning on putting this particular motor inside because you know, it's small, it will fit the firewall and the cavity that's provided for it. But my friend Mark Harris from Australia sent me a different motor, and typical of him, he would send me something bigger. So I'm putting this in now. You can see how I've drilled out the hole, and I've actually mounted the screws at the back. So now you have the motor together with the spinner on. So that's the motor that we're going to be trying out. It's a little bit heavier, so there's a chance that I might still go back to this one. We're going to have to see which one works better. But more motor, more power. So that's always a good thing to have more power. We will also be putting some cameras, well, a camera. And I have several cameras here. I have this one here, which is a low light camera. It says here low lux, comes from Intelligent Flight. But it's only black and white, but it's very good. I'm going to try and get you some samples of the picture of this in dark, very clean, no noise, very sharp, right? Much sharper than you would get from a color camera, but black and white. I also have this one. It's a fairly popular one. This is the OSC camera, IF OSC camera, and you have the OSD that you can adjust here for your settings. So some of the settings that you may not like, you can always bring up the menu and you can adjust it. Very popular, but this is also my favorite camera. This one here is the small one, the Origin IF camera. Very small, goes by several names now. I think different people carry it, and they give it slightly different coding, but this is probably the camera that's going onto the glider, partly because of the profile. The form factor is very small, presenting a very small resistance for the wind, so very small area of resistance for the wind. So this should be good for a glider. Now apart from that, we will also be putting in the GPS module. Now this is the one that most people have been using in the past, the EB85, a very popular 5 Hz capable GPS module. It does have a couple of problems with this software, in that under some conditions the updates, you know, they go a little bit wonky. And the one I'm using recently is the IF GPS. Now this is much smaller. You can just take a look at that, and you can see how they're different in terms of their size. So this one that I'm using is much smaller, much smaller. Just look at that, right? So we have those two. Of course, we have the Dragon OSD, and that's going in there. That's the heart of the whole FPV thing. We have the power supply that we have tested recently, and this is the IF dual power supply, mini dual power supply. Very highly recommended, very clean, convenient, puts out 5 volts and 12 volts, and you can easily connect the OSD and cameras to this, right? So that's the one we're using. And last of all, we have the this Lawmate 500 video transmitter. Now IF is just now carrying some of these, so you can try and get it from them. It's a little bit cheaper than you might get from other places. We also have the ESC. Now this is a Ternigi 30 amps. Sorry, it's that. Well, this is a 40 amperes Ternigi ESC, and that's going into the glider. Now what I've done, if you can look carefully here, is that I've actually cut out the cable, the positive cable, and inserted inline a current sensor, right? The one that I built, and I put a long cable on it because this glider is a little bit large, so it's going to be a little bit of distance between the Dragon OSD. This side goes into Dragon OSD and that one. So you have the motor right up front with the 40 amperes Ternigi. This one also came from Hobby City. It came as a present from Mark Harris as well. And then we have the did I say last? Okay, well, second to last. We have this. This is my long-range UHF receiver. So that's going to go into the glider, and hopefully we can get some respectable distance out this thing. Not to be left out, the batteries. This is the one I'm planning to use, the Flight Power EVO, right? Flight Power EVO Lite. This is a 2500 mAh battery, and it should be pretty good. Should give me a good performance and hopefully long flight. And I've got a secondary, small secondary 2S battery. Now this one is only rated to 850 mAh, but it should give me more than an hour's worth of video and all the other stuff. So this is good because it's light, it's very light, and also it takes up very little space, and it gives you assurance that, you know, regardless of what happens to the main battery, you can draw it down so much that your equipment stops working. So that's what we're going to be putting into the back. Of course, we have the IMU. This is the device that will give you your attitude and allows you to draw the artificial horizon. So this is also going to that. So we're gonna look at the entire layout. We're gonna be looking at all this equipment and how it all comes together for the FPV glider, right? So in this, stay tuned. We're gonna be looking at how this thing comes together here. Okay, first up, we're going to put in the GPS. We're going to have to connect the cable first to make it a little bit easier to put in later on. So this cable, really small connector, goes in here. Maybe I got it wrong way around, like that. Okay, so it goes in like that. And then what we're going to do is going to put it in here. Now some of you will be wondering if the GPS will still be receiving under the foam. Well, there shouldn't be a problem with that. So we're going to use a hot glue gun right now. This is comes in really handy. We just put some hot glue gun in here under the GPS. All right, we don't need a lot. We just need a little bit to get it going. Okay, we're going to just go ahead and mount the video now. Remember that I have cut up the section here in the foam. So what I'm doing now is I've got some double-sided tape there, and I've also mounted the wires into this video transmitter, because it's going to be difficult to put the cable in, the plug-in once you've mounted that. So you've got double-sided tape right there, and this here I've actually soldered it right to the dual power supply. Okay, so that's going to go in here like that. Okay, that's pretty firmly mounted. The cable goes into the small channel that I've made for it right there. I'm not going to glue that down just yet. I might put some glue gun, hot glue on that later on, but for the moment I think this will do. So that sits like that. Now this on this side here, this is going to go down all the way here. Alright, so we're going to actually move this a little bit and find some place for it down here. Once you've put the servo, the wires to control the aileron, the rods and all that, once that's done, this is going to go and sit somewhere right here, right? Okay, now this is the Dragon OSD. I've taken it apart so that I can solder the power cables and the video cables. So we're going to put that through this brown, this is a 3-core cable with a shield. So the core is going to be carrying the ground. There's a red wire that's going to be carrying the power from the battery, 2S battery. And then on top of that we have this yellow and white wire. One of them, the white one, is bringing the video into the OSD box 4, and then the yellow one goes back out. So this cable is very neat because it's got shielding. Or I'm kind of hoping that that this shielding is going to result in a better quality picture. Now I have to say a couple of things about a wire like that. First of all, these two are just going to be running in a twisted pair throughout this cable, right? They are twisted in here, and I'm a little bit concerned that there might be a bit of crosstalk between the input and output, but because the gain is 1-to-1, I'm hoping that that's not going to be any problem there. So a little bit of crosstalk maybe, hopefully nothing noticeable on the video itself. And other than that, this is just one cable. I think that's very good. I'm going to have to find a way of tying it up so that you don't stretch it too much, but maybe because it's internal, this wouldn't be a problem. So we're going to put it back together now. We've got the washers here. Don't forget the washers, because the otherwise the thing is not going to go together very well. So we've got the washers there. I'm going to just kind of put it together. The two halves come together like that, okay, right, like this, and you just kind of press it a little bit and it goes together. Snap firmly, nothing loose, right? And then the two screws that original came with it, the nuts really, and we're going to just kind of turn it down here, and we got one more over here, right? So that's going to, and we're going to have to tighten this. We're going to have to tighten this a little bit, and once we do that, this thing is done. So we have got cable going in from one end to the other end. That's the Dragon OSD wiring. Okay, you can see how we've now soldered the power supply together, right? You see that, and the brown cable is coming from the OSD, and it taps out the various parts of power supply. I've changed this a little bit so that you have a vertical, well, actually it's a 90-degree connector that will allow me to mount things in a lower profile. If I stick it out the side, it makes it a little bit more difficult to mount. So this is what we have now, and we're going to try and see if we can sort out some of the other things. Now you will notice at this point that the white wire, which is the audio wire, is still hanging free. I haven't decided exactly how to do that yet. I'm just going to deal with the video first, and then I'm going to do the audio last, right? That's what we have now.